Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm so excited because I get to sit down and film a holiday look, which by the way, if you're watching this on upload day, Merry Christmas Eve to anyone who's celebrating. I love this time of year and I especially love that the holidays lend itself to a very specific type of makeup. For Christmas time, I usually love to create looks that are very lip focused. I just think that it fits the vibe every single time. So that's what we're gonna do. I am gonna do something a little different than a classic red, but I felt like I really needed to have everything else on the face feel very fresh and subdued. We'll do a little bit of a lash to add some detail to the eyes, but the focal point will be the lips today. So let's just get right into it. I actually came across this on my desk. It's been a long time since I've used this, and for some reason this bottle feels very holiday to me. So I'm gonna go into this first. This is the NATASHA DENONA High-Gen Skin Glass Serum Primer. Now this is such a beautiful, very, very dewy primer, which again, I'm going for today because I want the skin to look healthy. I feel like sometimes in the winter especially, things can feel a little bit dry, dehydrated. So I don't want to lose that look. Like I want to make sure I have quite a bit of a glow on the skin. We're also going to keep things glam, but still lightweight when it comes to complexion. And then we're going to really go in with the lip combo. So I'm just applying this all over the face with a brush, and you can see how beautiful it looks and the gorgeous finish that it leaves on the skin. It has like a golden shift to it. Can you see that on the back of my hand? It just adds a beautiful radiance and it primes the skin perfectly for makeup. So, all right, now let's go into a classic, an oldie but a goodie, the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This foundation is my holy grail. I love this one so much. I'm just gonna take the same brush we were just using with that primer, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply this starting on the cheeks. That's where I have the most discoloration. So I like to start with the most product in the area that I want the most coverage, and then I'll just take what's left and kind of distribute that evenly across the skin, making sure to bring it down the neck a little bit as well. Especially since I've got my hair back, you do wanna make sure if you are wearing your hair up in any way that you take your makeup behind the ears a little bit, even on the ears, especially with bronzer, just so that everything looks very cohesive. And you also want to pay attention to what you're wearing. So if you're wearing something with a little bit of a lower neckline, you might want to drag what's left of your makeup or bronzer down to your neck and chest, just so that everything looks even, especially if you know you're going to be taking photos or whatever it might be. It's just a good thing to remember to make sure everything looks cohesive. I'm just pressing that into the skin with my sponge. That combo is actually so pretty. I'm really excited about where things are headed. I don't know if I brought a cream bronzer over here. I'm gonna go grab one. Okay, I've got the Too Faced Cream Contour Stick. This is so amazing. I actually wore it again when I talked about my Best of Beauty products, where I film all of my favorites from the year 2024. I wore this again because it was one of my favorite products of this year, and it had honestly been a while since I had put this on. And ever since I filmed that video, I've been wearing it every day because it's just one of the best. And I was reminded of how good it was. So I've been excited about it all over again. So I'm just gonna apply this to the face. And you guys know I've been doing cream contour and bronzer before concealer these days. I just feel like I have a little more control and I can focus more on shaping with concealer a little bit easier than shaping with bronzer after concealer is on. So this way I can just kind of like freely apply the bronzer all over the face and not have to really worry about how sleek it looks, because I'll just clean up the edges with concealer in a second. Okay, now that I've got that all over, so far my complexion combo is looking really, really nice. I'm gonna go into, should I use my Tarte concealer or should we go classic? Let's go classic and use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Affogato. And I'm gonna take this underneath the eye as well as along the sides of the nose to kind of reverse sculpt the nose. And then underneath my contour right here, a little on my chin to highlight, and we'll do a tiny bit on the forehead. I've noticed like when I use a little less concealer on the forehead, it just wears better throughout the day. So I've been trying to do a little bit of a lighter amount, and then I'm gonna blend that out with my A506 brush. Okay, once I use my brush to blend out the majority of the concealer, I always like to go back in with my sponge just to make sure the finish is really seamless. Okay, next I'm gonna go into my Huda Beauty powder, and I'm gonna use the shade Sugar Cookie today, which is the lightest shade. I want a little bit more of a glamorous element, so I'm feeling like using this lighter shade. I typically will use the shade Cupcake on the daily basis, which is a little bit more of a pink tone, but I want to have that slightly more glamorous airbrushed finish. So I'm taking this on a puff. This one is actually from Huda Beauty. And I'm just pressing that underneath the eyes and through the T-zone just to make sure there's no settling of the product. And this is where I always get oily throughout the day, so I like to press my powder through the T-zone. Then I'm gonna take a light little dusting of that same powder and set the sides of the face. All right, now we're gonna do eyes, but first I'm gonna do brows. I'm just gonna fill in my brows off camera really fast. So I feel like sometimes I can take a while, so just a second. Okay, brows are complete. I'm gonna go into a little bit of a powder bronzer. I'm gonna use the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. You guys know how much I love this one. I just want a little bit more warmth on the cheeks, especially when we do a bold lip. For some reason, I feel like I like a little more bronzer. So just gonna add that right on top of the contour that we applied a little bit earlier. And I'm gonna go in now with an eyeshadow brush. I'm just gonna take my bronzer and create a slight shape on the eyes. So we're gonna take a little bit of that and apply it up toward the brow, kind of as my transition shade. I'm gonna apply something on top in just a second, but I want a little bit of a base with this bronzer. I'm taking that same brush and just pinching it to apply to the lower lash line. Then I'm gonna take one of my favorite glimmery eyeshadows. This is from Lisa Eldridge. It's her Liquid Lyrics, right? I think that's what it's called, eyeshadow in the shade Cressida. I'm gonna take this and apply it directly to the eyelid. And then I'm gonna take a flat brush and just blend this out all over the eyelid. This gives such a beautiful natural pearl to the lids, which I think feels very festive, but since the lips are the focal point, I didn't want too much glitter going on the eyes, but I do want something that feels holiday-y. So we're gonna go in with this and just basically paint it all over the eyelids. It's so beautiful, and I feel like this paired with a bronzer is such a simple, easy eye look, but it looks so elegant and elevated. Speaking of Lisa Eldridge, I'm now gonna go into the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Flick Liquid Eyeliner. This is perfect for very small, very precise wings on the eyes. Since I am going to use false lashes, I wanted something along the lash line just to help things look a little more seamless, but I'm genuinely not gonna go crazy. I'm not doing a full-on big wing or anything. I'm just keeping this close to the lash line. I'm doing the slightest little flick at the very, very end. Then we're gonna go in with mascara. I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Panorama Mascara. And I'm gonna really work that into the lashes, focusing on the top lashes, but I do wanna put a little bit on the lower lashes as well. So I'm just doing a light layer on the lower lashes, just like that. And then we're gonna accentuate that slight wing that we have by putting on my favorite lashes. I don't wear false lashes often, but when I do, it's usually the Ardell 420s, and I cut them in half. It creates the perfect little wing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And then once you have your two halves, you wanna take the one that has the shorter end and put that on the inside of the eye. So I'm just popping on the tiniest bit of Duo Lash Glue. I'm using the clear one today. And I'm gonna let the glue get a little bit tacky before going in and applying it just to the edge of the eye. And it just adds that little flick and extra volume to the outside. And I don't know, can you tell the difference though? I feel like it's very subtle, but it's enough to really make things feel a little bit more elevated and elegant. So for a look like this, I think it really comes in handy. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the other lash on the other eye. Almost lost the lash, but I found it. Okay, while I wait for the lash glue to dry, we're actually gonna do lips next. So then I know how much blush to gauge and what to wear. So I'm gonna go into this Makeup Forever Extreme colored pencil in the shade Endless Cacao. And I'm creating a nice little base shape with this. And then I wanted something that felt very holiday, but wasn't like your typical red. And I wanted to try using Verbena, which is my brown berry from RAVIE Beauty. This is Effortless Lips, my dream everyday lip formula. I want to see how this looks, and I think it's going to look actually really pretty to have more of a burgundy lip. I'm starting with just one layer to see how it's going to go. Okay, yeah, I really like that. I feel like that looks so pretty. I'm wanting like a hint more red, so I think I'm going to mix in a tiny little bit of rose. Okay, I found rose, which is our traditional red. I'm going to mix in just a little of that. There we go. I feel like that's a really nice burgundy, but adding the rose in there makes it less brown, which I feel like feels more holiday. Oh, that's pretty. I love that deep red. Okay, we're gonna go into blush now. I'm gonna use one of my RAVIE Beauty blushes, and I'm thinking, let's stick to Paradise. I feel like that's such a classic, but you know, it's a classic for a good reason. This is one that I wear basically every day. So let's take a bit of Paradise, and I'm going to apply this toward the backs of the cheeks first, and then I'm going to bring a bit of that toward the apples of the cheeks as well. I do feel like when I wear a deeper lip color, I tend to wear a little more blush than I think, but it's really helpful, I'm telling you, to do your lip color first, then blush, because then you won't over or underdo it. You'll be able to get just the right amount of color. I always like to add a little bit of Oasis, which I'm gonna do now. Just the tiniest bit to the very apples of the cheeks. I feel like it's not a holiday look without a little highlighter. And I just pulled this out of my drawer, and it's quite the throwback for me, but I'm thrilled to use it. This is the Mary Luminizer highlight from The Balm, and this is one of my all-time favorite highlighters, and I haven't used it in so long. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to the high points of the face, down the center of the nose. Let's do a little bit in the eyes as well, or on the inner corner of the eyes, not in the eyes. Just right here for a little extra glow. And we'll pop a little bit underneath the brows. This is one of the best highlighters. It's so pretty. I love that combo of Verbena and rose. I've actually never done that before, and I think it looks so beautiful. We're gonna assess the situation and add a little more bronzer, as always, with what's left on the brush. And then I want to really lock in my makeup today. I'm actually gonna be wearing this all day, so I'm gonna go to my traditional extreme long wear combo, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Setting Spray. We do that first. I'm just gonna tap that into the skin. And then we're gonna lock things into place forever with the One Size On Till Dawn Setting Spray, which is like hairspray. The layering of the two is such an insane combo, your makeup will not move. And then I'm gonna set the brows with my Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. I'm adding the slightest bit more of rose, mostly to just the center of the lips. Okay, I just had the most random idea to add one more little detail. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerize pencil. It's like the shimmery metallic side, and the other side is the black pencil. I'll have it linked down below. I'm running this underneath my lashes on the lower lash line, just for like a little hint of something extra sparkly. It's very subtle, but I felt like the lower lash line needed a little glimmer. I think that looks really pretty. You could obviously opt out of this if you want, but I wanted to add that. All right, so that completes my holiday makeup look. I hope it inspires you to create something festive and fun for the holidays or for Christmas. I feel like this is obviously a very predictable classic look, but for me personally, there is a little spin on the usual red lip with more of a burgundy lip, which I think is nice, and also having a little bit more of a hydrated glossy finish on the lips, where in the past, I've typically done more of like a matte lip. So I think this is really pretty. I'm feeling so festive, and this feels very classic Christmas to me, and it makes me very excited for the holidays. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to end up recreating it, or if you've got a certain signature holiday look. I want to hear what it is in the comments. Also, be sure to tag me if you take inspo from this look and you end up recreating it. I would love, love, love to see your looks. But yeah, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Love you. Bye.